Houston, we have a problem. Initiate learning sequence. Approaching Casey's most excellent skills in T-minus now.
As Casey walked out to third recess, he realized that he had a problem. He'd promised Bridget that he'd play Seven Wonders with her at third recess. But during first recess, the soccer game had extended to second recess. He'd promised second recess to Joe, and now Joe was insisting that Casey should play foursquare with him. He didn't know what to do. He'd made promises to both Joe and Bridget. He knew Bridget would be mad at him if he didn't play with her, but Joe was a new friend and he might not want to play with him anymore at all if he didn't go with him now. Casey looked up at both of them and said, "How about if I go play foursquare with Joe and play with you," he motioned to Bridget, "during first recess tomorrow?" Casey smiled. He thought he'd come up with a good compromise. Bridget's face reddened and her eyes welled up with tears. She crossed her arms, turned around, and walked away. He'd clearly really hurt Bridget and most likely made the wrong choice. He looked over toward the forest and saw her sitting underneath a tree, head in hands. He looked away, swallowed hard, and kept walking toward the blacktop. Clearly, he shouldn't have gotten himself into this mess by overpromising, but he realized what he had to do. The right thing was to tell Joe that he needed to keep his promise to Bridget. If Joe unfriended him because of it, then Joe didn't have the understanding quality that Casey needed in a friend. Casey stood in front of Joe and Isaac, who were already playing foursquare, and said, "Hey guys, why don't you go ahead and play together? I'm gonna go play with Bridget. Joe, I'm sorry that I didn't play with you during second recess. I shouldn't have kept playing soccer, and I shouldn't have promised that I'd play with you at this recess. I just forgot that I'd already promised Bridget that I'd play with her. I'd like to play with you tomorrow." He paused and offered, "How about second recess? It's the longest. Is that okay?" Joe grabbed onto the ball. Was he going to get mad? He bounced it a few times. "Okay," he said with a smile. "Tomorrow, for sure." "Yep," Casey said, feeling a deep sense of relief. Then he turned and ran off to the forest to find Bridget. "I'm sorry I chose Joe. I was wrong. I made a promise to you, and friends should always keep their promises. You do." He held out a hand to help her up to her feet. "We don't have much time left," Casey added, "so let's play a little now and then more at first recess tomorrow, okay?" Bridget smiled a little and wiped her eyes, leaving a dirt trail down her cheek, and said, "Don't do it again, okay? I'll really try, I promise." Sounds like a powerful skill. Prepare for liftoff.